Hello. I've just watched Jaruj's video, Asriel Does 2.0, and I have some problems with it. First off, let me go through the classic YouTuber spiel. This is not an attack on Jarujaruj as a person. If you harass him, you are a loser. I cannot stress this enough. If you harass him for having a bad Delta Rune theory, you are a loser. Let's start with the good parts, positivity first. Jaruj's videos are typically pretty controversial. They oftentimes go against the generally assumed ideas of the fandom, and that's perfectly fine. And this one does that as well. This video does, and I want to stress that Jarujaruj, his Oberon Smog video is actually what got me into Delta Rune theorizing as like a concept, and enough for that. This video really does serve as really, really good Asriel Knight evidence. A lot of the evidence in this, for Asriel Knight in particular, is just as compelling as the rest of the Knight theories. Because let me tell you a secret: all the Knight theories have the biggest, most massive holes in them you will ever see. But this theory, Jaruj's theory, really did an excellent job at exploring the Asriel Knight idea. I know Asriel Knight's pretty controversial in the fandom because it'd be a very big retread of Undertale, right? But I think there's definitely interesting ways for it to go. Every Knight theory is just as valid as the others, because I'm sure Toby Fox will manage to pull it off. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked. We got the rest of the theory that just doesn't work. First of all, him denying player soul, as a concept, is really, really funny, because it, undermines the themes of the game so heavily. I'm not saying the player literally has to be the player. It's definitely a metaphorical situation. It's obviously metaphorically meant to represent the player, right? I think that's something we can all agree on, even if you don't agree with player soul. But, it being death, it brings up a lot of really, really weird implications with the weird route, which I guess is fitting in a way. But it also, Jaru said he would explain this in a later theory, but you can't just bring up the implications of, grooming, incest, pedophilia, and then just not address it, Because, according to the ARG, Noelle is 16 years old, if I'm reading that correctly, and Adess is the same age as Asriel, we all assume, means she'd be away at college. And to be away at college, I guess she could be 17, but in all likelihood, she's probably 18, and that is her sister. So, weird thing to bring up and just not explain. Then we got, just this idea that, Chris did not like death. That's directly counter to the Henna speech before the Lightner's Live minigame. That's just directly against that. It does not compute with the actual text of the game. Which, if your theory denies the text of the game, your theory's wrong. And then we got the big thing, right? Asriel being Rousey. This makes no sense, because Rousey and the old man do not, act in the same way. The old man has all of Gerson's memories, ostensibly. For all intents and purposes, that is Gerson, okay? Might be some minor differences, but that old man definitely has Gerson's memories, objectively speaking, okay? That's the only way the letter to Alvin makes any sort of narrative sense. Okay? And then, like, wouldn't Asriel appear as his 18-year-old self since he was about to go away to college? Or if the old man's appearance, if Dustner's in general appearance, is based off of, how the person most remembers them when they died, wouldn't it make more sense for Rouse to be significantly younger than the rest of the fun gang? Because it appears that the fondest memories that Chris would have of Asriel would be before Dess's disappearance, and Dess's disappearance seemingly happened significantly before Asriel going away to college, which is another flaw in this theory, by the way, because this states that they happened at the exact same time, which wouldn't make any narrative sense. Asriel, as Rousey, would have significantly more memories than Gerson Old Man, because, like, theory goes with Asriel, and I'll just use that for this example. The Old Man Dark World was created by his student, which would have significantly less, knowledge of them as a person than, for instance, literally another part of them, another him, if you will, or their younger siblings. So, which are the two worlds that Rousey appears in most often. And obviously, there is something extra between Asriel and Rousey. I'm not denying that, but they are not the same character, because that opens up more questions than at least this interpretation of the theory can answer. Plus, how would... this theory also operates under the assumption that Chris, Toriel, does not care about Asriel. That's the only way this theory makes sense. The internet's been out in hometown, so that would explain why she hasn't been communicating with him this week. But Asriel, it's implied that this is going, the next time Asriel will be home will be summer break, with the next time they'll see Asriel in the green room is summer vacation, which would mean neither Toriel nor Ascor, according to Jarujaruj, would be contacting their son. Toriel, who walks their kid to school when they're 16. Asriel, who's so desperate to maintain the past, he's working with Carol on the Roaring conspiracy and stalking his ex-wife. Neither of those two were let me give my son a call. It's Asriel. He says Des can't be denied because she has to be the voice in the code. Okay, that makes sense. I agree with that to a certain extent, even if I do think, Des is probably the knight, just because that's how foreshadowing generally works. It would be odd for her to be connected to both mysteries, But then he says that Asriel is both code voice and the knight and Rousey. This theory also partakes in something I like to call just straight up forgetting that Rousey has characterization of his own. To numerous points, Rousey's whole arc is about gaining a backbone and becoming a person independent of the prophecy. That's his entire character arc. We can all agree on that. This theory just ignores that. Not only is it narratively unsatisfying, it's also sort of antithetical to the themes. You thought you could be someone different, but you can't. You'll always be just the memories of Asriel. Rousey would be it'd be like if Undertale ended with you having, the pacifist route of Undertale ended with, you have to kill Asriel. That's the only option. That'd be silly. We all know how silly that would be, correct? And then, like, this is a this is such a little thing, but it also goes to, like, completely destroy the theory. It's just like this little. You're building with Legos, and then you just put one piece wrong, and the entire structural integrity is gone. Chris, we can see their stats in the menu of the light world. No XP. They're level 1, no XP. Therefore, they must have not killed anyone. Just by the merits of the world in which they inhabit. So yeah, it's kind of a smoking gun that just... And the bullets in the theory. Like... Also, how is Carol faking that Asriel's alive? Right? Like a mayor and a 16-year-old can't do that. Like... on top of, like, coming up with, like, a world-ending plot? That simply cannot be done. Like, that's just... Like, his most recent video, Jaruj's most recent video, like, I agree with him on a lot of his points. Yeah, it is a lot harder to tell if a character in Deltarune is aware, or Undertale, is aware that they're in a game or not. That's objectively true, thanks to the diegetic mechanics. That's a good point. But then, he, like, poisons the well by, like, being like... Every time he describes his opponent's theory, that the theory he's up in the ring against, he puts on a stupid voice. He's like, "Pah, so Castor, he figured out he was in a video game, and then he hacked into Toby Fox's Twitter, and he sent us a survey program, and he... Oh, but my theory is so much better. You see, Gaster sent out a call to another dimension, and that is what the beginning of the game is. Like, I can do that with any theory and make it sound utterly stupid. No, Luffy won't be king of the pirates because that's so stupid. Do you hear yourself? But I'm Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm gonna be king of the pirates, and you're just gonna let that happen? Do you think Oda is bad at writing his stories? That'd be such an anticlimax, because we all know it's gonna happen. What really needs to happen, he needs to subvert our expectations. Like, I can make any theory sound stupid if I say it dumbly. No, Sonic doesn't go fast. You know how stupid you sound? The blue hedgehog that goes way, way fast. You sound like an infant. You know, like, that's the level of, like, theory crafting, of, like, straw man terrible argument Jaru was engaging in clearly in part of that video. And trust me, if I said your theory in a stupid voice, it would sound a whole lot dumber than just the player is the soul. And let's touch on something. Rouse would have the memories of Asriel, as established by Gerson, as established by the old man and Gerson, clearly sharing memories. Probably more, like I mentioned before, because, you know, he only exists in Dark Worlds made by both himself and Chris, his sibling, for the most part. People that have known him pretty much their entire life, right? So he would have more memories than than the old man. And the old man has enough memories to write a letter to his son. This would turn, like, a ship that the game's kind of insistent about. Like, it's not like Zelda, where it's essentially canon. It's a ship named, like, Chris or something, Chris-A, that ship. And you're just straight up incest. Which is the second instance of this happening. And I know, like, Toby Fox, he's willing to get a bit darker with his themes and stuff. Like, he's not going to make your basic average Nintendo game. Everything's silly, everything's, like, painted bright pink, and it's all goofy. But he's also not just gonna, like, throw in, like, I would, maybe he will, you know? I need to, maybe, like, Undertale is a fluke, and the climax of this game will be double incest. Um, that's entirely possible, but it seems extremely unlikely.